Join me as I dive into the surprising story of how milk turned New Zealand into a billionaire powerhouse, and I'll see if I can uncover the secrets behind this dairy success. New Zealand, a country with a population of just around 5 million people, has managed to become a giant in the global dairy market, and it's all thanks to milk. The country's dairy industry has transformed its economy, creating wealth and opportunities for its citizens. But how did this happen? That's what we're going to explore in this video. When we think of New Zealand, we often think of its stunning landscapes, its outdoor lifestyle, and its passionate rugby fans. But what many people don't know is that the country faced significant challenges when it first started building its dairy industry. In the early days, the land was unsuitable for farming, and the country's isolation made it difficult to export its products. Despite these obstacles, the government and dairy farmers were determined to overcome them. The early days of dairy farming in New Zealand were tough. The soil was poor, the weather was unpredictable, and the farmers were experimenting with new techniques. It wasn't until the 1880s, when the first dairy cooperatives were established, that things started to take off. These cooperatives allowed farmers to pool their resources, share knowledge, and invest in new technologies. But it wasn't until the early 20th century when the government started to provide subsidies and support to the industry that dairy farming in New Zealand really began to flourish. The government's support was crucial in helping the industry overcome its early challenges. In the 1920s, the government established the Dairy Board, which helped to regulate the industry, improve farming practices, and increase exports. This led to a period of rapid growth, with dairy farming becoming one of the country's most important industries. As the industry grew, so did the demand for new technologies and innovations. In the 1950s and 60s, New Zealand dairy farmers started to adopt new farming practices, such as the use of fertilizers and irrigation systems. This led to a significant increase in milk production, and soon New Zealand was exporting its dairy products to countries around the world. It wasn't until the 1980s, however, that New Zealand's dairy industry really became a global powerhouse. This was thanks to a combination of factors, including the deregulation of the industry, the introduction of new technologies, and the increasing demand for dairy products from countries like China. Suddenly, New Zealand was producing more milk than it knew what to do with, and its exports were skyrocketing. The factors that contributed to New Zealand's success in the dairy market were numerous. The country's unique geography, with its green pastures and mild climate, made it an ideal place for dairy farming. The government's support and investment in the industry had helped to drive innovation and growth. And the country's isolation, which had once been a major obstacle, now became a major advantage, as New Zealand was able to produce high-quality dairy products without the need for expensive transportation. So, what can we learn from New Zealand's dairy success story? Firstly, the importance of government support and investment in key industries cannot be overstated. Secondly, innovation and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances are essential for success. And finally, even the most unlikely of industries can become global powerhouses with the right combination of factors. Thanks for watching. And if you've got any thoughts on how milk has transformed New Zealand's economy, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about the economic impacts of agriculture, be sure to check out our next video.